Now I would like to introduce our first speaker today, Senator David Carlucci. Senator Carlucci, your line is open.
Oh, well, good afternoon. Thank you for having me today, and thank you for having this extremely important hearing today. I'm Senator David Carlucci, and I represent parts of Rockland and Westchester counties. And I want to congratulate the Thruway Authority on the completion of the new bridge. And as was mentioned, the 200,000 people that have visited the pedestrian path. I'm one of them, and it's a great asset to our community. So thank you for that. And thank you for the work that you do in safeguarding and improving this wonderful asset that we have of the Thruway Authority in New York State. I wanted to bring to the attention of the board the issue of tolls by mail. The fact is that my office alone has received hundreds of cases of residents throughout the community that have really been in a bad situation due to the tolls by mail. I just wanted to bring up an example, a recent example of someone from this year, actually a nurse on the front line, working in New York City, but living in Rockland County. In the midst of the COVID pandemic that we've been experiencing, she was faced with $160 in tolls that were outstanding. But then was hit with $3,260 worth of fines. And that is not a unique experience. This is something that we've seen over and over again. So there's been a deal of complexity and a problem with people being able to participate in the tolls by mail. So I want to bring that to everyone's attention because I think there is some things that we can do. I want to thank the Thruway Authority for freezing the tolls for Rockland and Westchester Easy Pass holders. What I would ask is that you consider extending that freeze to all Rockland and Westchester residents. I've seen that many of the people that can least afford these fees and these higher tolls are some of the residents that can least afford it. And this has had a spiral effect where many of the residents that I've personally dealt with have accumulated fines that have now spilled over into other parts of their life and has just been a snowballing effect for an economic personal disaster for them. The other thing that we really need to keep in mind in preserving and keeping that toll as low as possible is the fact that we do travel between Rockland and Westchester counties quite often. And that I believe that when businesses are looking to locate in Rockland and Westchester counties, that they are considering how much it does cost for their residents to get to work. And that's why keeping the toll as low as possible for all of our residents has to be a priority. And we have to make sure that we're not penny wise and pound foolish. We also have to consider that the MTA has been threatening to reduce service west of the Hudson. And for residents, particularly in Rockland County, if you don't have mass transit or if you don't have a car, you're in a really bad situation because the options for mass transit are limited. And I'm hopeful, though, that we can continue to work towards having more mass transit options, particularly having mass transit across the new bridge. To have rail eventually. I think now is the time to start planning for that. And one other consideration, or a couple more, just a couple more, is the first is this surcharge of $2 when there is a billing statement. I understand that the motivation is to try to get more people to enroll in Easy Pass. And we should be doing everything we can to get people into some sort of method like that. However, that is a very heavy-handed approach and something that could just exacerbate people's financial situations. So a policy as in maybe making it known that fines are forgiven if people do enroll in Easy Pass within a certain period of time, making that a well-known solid policy could be something that could be beneficial. The last thing I'll leave you with is just one of the concerns that I've had as a New York State Senator is my ability to really understand by reviewing the contract that the Thruway Authority has with Conduit. the entity or one of the entities that is doing the work of cashless tolling or tolls by mail. I would like to, as a senator, but then also as a private resident and someone that uses the Thruway, be able to really see and understand the ins and outs of that contract and know exactly what is going on. This technology is increasing and becoming more successful as we move on in terms of data recognition and the photographs that are being taken. However, we really need to understand what is the incentive, the motivations, the revenues that the private companies are making, as well as the Thruway Authority on cashless tolling when fines are being levied, when tolls are being collected. What would help is a level of transparency in making those documents more accessible to the public and to elected officials. I believe that would be helpful to all of us. And lastly, I appreciate you listening to our comments from the meeting in July of 2019 and following through with having a toll freeze for Easy Pass holders in Rockland and Westchester. I would ask that you have the toll advisory panel meet more frequently and try its more to engage with all members of the community to make sure that they can participate and work collaboratively with the Thruway Authority to increase the benefit that the Thruway Authority is adding to the public. So with that, I thank you for your time today. Thank you for listening to me, and look forward to continuing to work with you to make New York a place where people, where we're investing in the infrastructure. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Senator.
Great. Thank you, Senator Carlucci.